during this part of the year, I don't know about you, it's very easy for me to fall in love with ideas, fall in love with the idea of a take. What is something right now in the world of college football that you are slowly but surely, maybe you're not planting your flag just yet, maybe you're not 10 toes down, it's only February for goodness sake, but something where you're like, hey, I'm starting to fall for the idea of this?
I think for me right now, what I'm starting to fall in love with is LSU football.
Are you really?
Yeah, man. I'm starting to swoon every time Lane Kiffin does a press conference and gets on the mic. I get it. And as the people of the huddle know, I'm always looking for a team to root for because I have no dog in the fight here, and I've been looking for an SEC team and Big John Summerall kind of program over here. Love what he's doing over there. So I've bought some early stock in Florida, but LSU's catching my eye too, and I think it's Lane at the podium saying the right things and me thinking more and more that he is the right fit. And you talk about the portal pieces they've added, obviously, the more closer we get to spring practice. And really just it's funny, these small stories in college football somehow are like connecting back to Lane. For me, you talk about the Trinidad Chambliss news that's going on and him getting his eligibility, and just thinking back to how successful Trinidad was as a Division II quarterback that was there for the summer and then gets thrown in the middle of the season and takes off. It just has me really excited for what Sam Leavitt could be in this LSU offense, and I don't have to squint to see them humming on all cylinders and firing, coming out the gates and being one of the best teams in the country immediately. So right now, man, whether it's LSU at the podium with Lane Kiffin, whether it's me thinking more and more about this roster and what they're building, and you look at their schedule, and it's not an easy schedule, but the more I think about it, you looked at Ole Miss last year, no one was really talking about them preseason, and as well as like Oklahoma, who had a hard schedule. Like eventually there comes a turning of the tide where your schedule is either hard or it's hard for other people to have you on the schedule. And I feel like after 3 weeks of the season, if they're looking how I think they could look in Baton Rouge, then all of a sudden I think it's okay. It's tough having LSU on your schedule. They're kind of the big bad, and you'd rather not play them than have to go through their whole gauntlet and say one game's harder than another.
It's so tricky because we eval schedules before the season, but you get into the season and it's like, hey, actually you had to play Florida, and Florida's still talented, but Florida, what we thought they were before the year and what they were in October and November, two very different looking logos in that sense. Dude, I love hearing that you're maybe taking a ride on the Lane train, on the LSU experience, like doing it a year ago without the Lane train part of it, but like that is a fan base that after picking them last year to win the national title, like, dude, I go on the Ponderosa now, the LSU on-three message board, and, I mean, it's like I'm royalty over there. Like, never been to Baton Rouge. I've driven through Louisiana a couple of times. But in terms of people, like, embracing you, if you embrace them, we're going to judge every team fairly. We're going to keep it all equal, even playing field. But, like, in terms of a team that gets behind you from a fan base level, bro, LSU is a very different kind of ride. Now, I'm sure they're going to turn, too, if we end up, not being on the same wavelength.
Very fair.
Which is just, I guess, comes with it. But that's a fun ride to take, dude, in Baton Rouge, the Lane train. Sam Leavitt, too, in that offense. It's not a tough one to get behind logic-wise to see him hooping.
Yeah, he was must-see TV for me when he was healthy last year. And I think you talked, too, about you last season before the year going all in on Texas A&M being a college football playoff team. Same thing with the schedule. We looked at their schedule and thought it was hard, but now with the season over, you look at their schedule. Texas A&M had a pretty easy schedule last year, you know what I mean? So things can change for sure when it comes to the schedule and the hand you're dealt, but I think there are going to be teams this year that, whether it's the Georgias of the world, the Ohio States of the world, who Ohio State does have a hard schedule. There are certain teams where no matter how hard the schedule is, you have confidence in what they're doing. That's the head coach, that's the personnel, that's the consistency. But as far as year one, expectations are high, being able to meet the expectations. And honestly, the Lane Kiffin documentary and just watching that last year and learning a little bit more about Lane before the whole saga unraveled. I like Lane. I'm a Lane guy. I get it. I understand. I feel like I understand him more and feel like he's not the most uncomplicated coach out there, but he just gets it. He's a play caller that his record speaks for itself when it comes to his offensive acumen. And I think with LSU behind him, with the Bayou behind him, with Sam Leavitt touching the ball every play for his offense, I just feel really good right now in the month of February about what they got going on over there.
It's an easy one to fall in love with, too, because of what you just said. That place when it's activated, that brand, that logo, like it's a very romantic place in college football to get excited about. So I love everything about that. Last thing I'll say on Kiffin, I think the thought across college football with first-year hires, whether it be Golish or Summerall or whoever, obviously they're making the jump from the G5 to the SEC, so there's some calibration there. But I think with Kiffin, it's funny because we almost excuse all the reasons why in year one you would fade someone. Yes, it's LSU, but also you're like, this dude pretty much reset his roster every year in Oxford.
Yeah.
And every single year, like, they were a force to be reckoned with in the SEC, no matter what the win total was, or who they had at quarterback, who they ended up having at quarterback. This is kind of how Lane Kiffin gets down. It's year one for him every year, no matter how long he's been somewhere.
Right.
So it'll be fun, man. I'm excited for that.